What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think that today is a massive day for the Call of Duty community. A lot of people are going to see this news and information and think it's absolutely pointless, but let me tell you guys something. I'm going to describe to you guys why I personally believe this is a big thing and why this is going to be a huge turning point within the Call of Duty scene. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And also, I do stream Monday through Saturday, grinding out this Call of Duty grind now, obviously, since X-Defiant is, I can't play it on PC. I said it many times before. It doesn't work. I don't know what the issue is. I'm going to maybe make a video about that later. But right now, we are heavy into the Call of Duty grind and Marvel Rivals as well. I've been having a blast on that game. So if you guys are interested, want to hang out with me, by all means, I got a link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. All right, so to go ahead and start off here, this isn't the exact topic of today's video, but I still want to mention it because I think it's important for the follow-up point that's going to be made. As you can see right here from Charlie Intel, Treyarch devs suggest the Omni movement in Call of Duty will continue to evolve after seeing its initial potential. It's been inspiring to see players pulling off so many incredible plays with Omni movement every day, and we are sure we haven't seen the limits of its potential yet. Honestly, I'll be real with you guys, I've been kind of 50-50 with the Omni movement, but the more I play with it, the more I get used to it, the more I enjoy it. The only downside, in my personal opinion, is the fact that you have to have auto sprint on at all times. I've never done this before in any Call of Duty game in history. But in Black Ops 6, it's kind of mandatory to have because, the Omni movement just doesn't feel very smooth. Maybe it's better for controller players, but for mouse and keyboard, it is impossible. It's disgusting. Literally, it's disgusting. I hated Omni movement at first until I learned about the auto, sprint feature. And once I turned that on, it changed everything. I don't know. Controller players, let me know if you agree with this or if you disagree with this. But for mouse and keyboard, you have to have it on. But I've been a little 50-50, but honestly, over time, I've been enjoying it. It's not too shabby, and it still plays kind of like traditional Call of Duty, pick and move, get power positions, with a little extra oomph to the overall flow, being able to dolphin dive everywhere, hit some crazy plays. I've done some cool things myself personally. It's fun. It's fun to experiment with. But the reason I wanted to go ahead and state this is because the next follow-up point kind of confirms, not confirms because obviously it's all leaks right now, but it kind of brings the first post to life here that Treyarch does indeed want to, keep Omni movement in the franchise and continue it into the future. But as you can see right here from the second post from Charlie Intel, new rumors on Infinity Ward's next Call of Duty game. Expected to be another Modern Warfare title, 2026 release, expected to feature Omni movement and wall running, and multiplayer may include some Modern Warfare 3 2011 maps remastered, along with new maps. Now, I do want to go ahead and jog your guys' memory on the current timeline for Call of Duty before we dive deep into all this stuff, but right now, 2025 is rumored to be the Black Ops 2 styled game. It's going to be basically, a quote-unquote remake, but not a remake. 2026 obviously is being put together by Infinity Ward, and 2027 is supposedly going to be Sledgehammer Games, if of course they can get a full development cycle, which I'm keeping my fingers crossed they will, because they are like my favorite development team now, and they deserve the time. They really do. They have gone through the trenches. They deserve some time to put together a game, just like Infinity Ward had time with Modern Warfare 2 2022, and just like Treyarch had time with Black Ops 6 here, 4+ years. Sledgehammer deserves that time as well. But let's get the timeline aside here. I like this information because, again, I love Modern Warfare 3 2011 maps, and we've barely seen any of them reintroduced into the Call of Duty scene. It was such a missed opportunity with Modern Warfare 3 2023, but it is what it is. I'm sure Infinity Ward would rather, hyper-focus that, even though Sledgehammer made the multiplayer for Modern Warfare 3 2011. So it's just a big slap in, Sledgehammer's face. This is why I always say Sledgehammer gets abused, it's never ending, the abuse that Sledgehammer has to pick up here. They literally made the multiplayer experience for Modern Warfare 3 2011. They probably put together the majority of all the crap in there, and they can't even use those own maps for their version of Modern Warfare 3 2023. What a bummer. But again, at least we'll be able to see them because those maps were phenomenal. But the big juicy details here are the Omni movement and wall running. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, Infinity Ward has they've kind of given themselves a reputation. Now, it's been like this since the beginning of time, right? If you're a hardcore Call of Duty fan, you know there's differences between the studios. Infinity Ward's always made a little bit more, I don't want to say tactical, because Call of Duty is not tactical in any way, shape, or form, but it's always been a bit more slow than a Treyarch game. Like, think of Call of Duty 4 compared to World at War. Call of Duty 4, the majority of the time, you're seeing people with M16s posted up on windows, one-tapping you across the map. Not all the time, because there was a lot of variety. The MP5 was fun to use, and, the sniper rifles were fun. But just the general flow of the game, they definitely catered a little bit more towards that direction. Whereas World at War, the game that came right after it, although very similar in a lot of styles, was stupidly fast-paced. I mean, the majority of the time, the SMGs were dominating the whole game, and you didn't even need an ADS. If you look back at any of my World at War gameplay, people used to call me cheaters in the plutonium lobbies 24/7, but it was no cheating. I mean, literally, you can hit fire people across the map with any of the SMGs, a Tommy gun, an MP40, a Type, a PPSH. You didn't even have to aim your gun. You can hit fire with steady aim and beam people. It was extraordinarily fast-paced. But that right there are the styles of these two development teams, you know? They've always been like that since the beginning of time. But fast forward to current date, it's gotten a little bit more wild. I would say Infinity Ward has changed drastically. They used to be, yes, a little bit more tactical, but now it almost seems like they want to, incorporate milsim, techniques and ideas into Call of Duty. Not saying they are, because it's not, Modern Warfare 2019, I know we all like to say it's milsim-like, but it's not in any way, shape, or form. A milsim, it's funny because people always throw that term out there, but I'm sure the majority of people who throw that term out there have never played a milsim a day in their life. I play them all the time. Squad, Hell Let Loose. I even play a little bit more fast-paced milsims or tactical shooters like Insurgency Sandstorm. They're tons of fun, but they're nothing like COD. But you could tell that Infinity Ward is indeed drawing inspiration from a lot of those styles of games and trying to incorporate that mindset into Call of Duty. Not completely, but they're trying to cater to that style of player, right? And after Modern Warfare 2 2022, I made a video, and I've been kind of holding this idea here because I wanted to see how things pan out in the future. But I've been saying, I'm curious right now because we are at a turning point for the Infinity Ward development team. Either they're going to stick with their guns and they're going to continue to make games like this that are way more tactical than fast-paced like Call of Duty usually is, or they're going to recognize that they are on a downward spiral. I mean, Warzone 2 had the worst numbers possible. Modern Warfare 2 2022 was so rough for a lot of players that literally Activision advertised Modern Warfare 3 2023 being everything that Modern Warfare 2 2022 was not, saying it's faster, better, all of the above, basically throwing Infinity Ward under the bus. Infinity Ward has been through a lot of crap, so I'm thinking to myself, are they going to change? Are they going to stick with their guns and continue to make these type of games? Or, after all this feedback, are they actually going to change for the better? Now, when I first saw Omni movement, it didn't really convince me. Because, again, you can have a slow game with Omni movement, right? All you got to do is just do what they did in Modern Warfare 2 2022. Reduce the amount of, ADS speed that you do. Every attachment you put on a gun slugs you down. You could easily make a slow game while still allowing you to run in all different directions and dive in all different directions easily. But what convinced me was when I heard wall running. This right here has kind of made me shift my mindset on how Infinity Ward is going to handle this game. And it's really starting to make me believe that they are indeed folding. They are no longer going to be able to produce the games that they want to produce because they can tell the mass majority of the Call of Duty community is not happy with the direction they are pushing. Again, Modern Warfare 2 2022 did very poorly for them, and I think it's starting to show. The way they advertise Modern Warfare 3, the way they're pushing it even harder with Black Ops 6, and now with the information for, obviously the next Infinity Ward title having wall running in it, this is convincing me that they are indeed going to be picking up the pacing of their overall games, which is huge. This right here confirms that Infinity Ward is indeed folding with their mindset of what Call of Duty should be. I mean, let's be honest here, guys. Infinity Ward was the development team who decided that minimaps shouldn't be in Call of Duty. They actually went as far as wanting the whole game to be hardcore with no HUD. Guys, this team has been trying to push Call of Duty in a strange direction. And don't get me wrong, I think that it's good that they add a little variety into the Call of Duty mix. It's one of the main reasons why Call of Duty can survive year after year after year, is because every Call of Duty game has slight changes. They're not all exact clones. Yeah, they are technically, but down to certain, concepts and certain ideas, they change. They're different. Like I said, COD 4 and World at War, pretty much the same exact game, but two different styles, two different flows, which helped people, differentiate between a Treyarch game and an Infinity Ward game. But the difference is that Infinity Ward was able to differentiate themselves way better back in the day compared to how they do it current date. So I'll be real with you guys, even though this isn't confirmation that, Infinity Ward is indeed going to pick up the pace, although it's pretty good information that they will pick up the pace, let's be real. They could definitely make a game still with wall running that is extremely slow paced. It'll be hard to do because, wall running will definitely quicken up the pace, but if they really wanted to, they could still slow down every other aspect of the game and allow you to wall run. But I am so curious to see what they're going to do because I have been watching this team put out game after game after game, get bashed and bashed and bashed, watching Activision even bash them at this point. I want to see what their next move is. Are they going to quicken up the pace of this game, or are they going to go ahead and slow it back down? And also, this wall running information sparks a couple of things in my mind. First and foremost, how is this going to work in a game that's modern day? I'm assuming it's not going to be jetpacks. So are they going to incorporate, wall running with boots on the ground mechanics? And if so, how could that actually be done? And secondly, this to me is proof that we are slowly and surely going to get back into the jetpack phase of Call of Duty. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not the biggest fan of jetpack games for Call of Duty, but I will enjoy the change of pace. I will say the biggest thing that destroyed jetpack games before is that we were forced to play them year after year after year. I mean, guys, Infinite Warfare got review bombed before the game even came out. People saw that it was a jetpack Call of Duty game, and they instantly disliked it. It is what it is. And I agree, though, with that mindset. We don't want jetpack games every year in a row. But if they can sprinkle them throughout, the lifespan, that will be perfect. And honestly, I think that's the direction that we're pointing here, guys. I don't see any other reason why they would begin to start incorporating wall running into the Call of Duty universe if they weren't planning on going back towards the jetpack CODs. And if you look at the timeline of Call of Duty, that will be right around the time. Sledgehammer Games is going to be coming out in 2027. 2026 is going to be Infinity Ward's game. And just like back in the day, they made Ghost, and then after Ghost, it was done. We had Modern Warfare 3, Ghosts. We had Modern Warfare 3 here. I don't know what the next game is going to be called, but it's probably not going to be called Ghost because of the bad reputation that game had. But right after Ghost, they dove right on into the jetpacks. And I mean, let's be honest here. If they're planning on incorporating some type of wall running into the next, Modern Warfare game that Infinity Ward's putting out here, I feel like that's just them trying to ease people back into that movement, ease them back into that mindset. And if they stick to the same timeline, more than likely, we're going to be seeing a jetpack COD very soon. But ladies and gentlemen, again, these are all leaks. I just wanted to share them with you guys, give my opinions, and kind of share that I am very curious to see what Infinity Ward's going to do here. This is like the turning point for Infinity Ward. And I think a lot of people have been waiting on this, so I want to know what you guys think down below. But as always, if you guys enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. And of course, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. You guys can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out.